Hey everybody, how's it going? Hope you guys had a good Thanksgiving. If you're like me and just finishing up this discussion for this week, been eating too much turkey and did too much Black Friday shopping. As far as week 8, our discussion, we're reflecting on craft elements of story techniques and things like that. As far as reflecting on the craft elements of storytelling, I think it's important for writers to engage readers and move the story forward, obviously. I think the strongest part and one of the hardest craft elements to master as a writer has to be your own writing voice. Lots of writers say their style mimics certain things or people, or sometimes peers or critics say that, but I personally think the highest form of a compliment for a writer is for their readers to recognize they have their own individual voice as a writer in what they write. Now, I know when we're talking about writer's voice, we're always also talking about point of view. We're talking about, like the narration in our stories, how we establish the setting, the dialogue perspective, and things like that. But developing our own aspects of characterization is the key part of establishing our writer's voice that's unique to ourselves. Of course, I've been using Larry McMurtry and Dwayne's Depressed and things this semester. As far as craft elements that brought that story to life for me, it's the strong characters that endured through the whole series, because you've got 5 different books. That includes the development of characters, keeping them visible, making them an integral part of all the different books, but also using their development to push the story forward. And too many times I think we use descriptive language and things like that are almost like an intermission from our story. They're kind of like, when you get the writer or the reader into the story, it's kind of like we take a step back and narrate the story. And if we examine those elements and use them to integrate it into our character's journey, we can make it more of a seamless transition between those elements to make it more organic. In Dwayne's Depressed, basically you've got a guy that should be considered successful. He's got children, he's got a wife, he's got all these things that would make, basically makes us think that Dwayne would be happy. But he gradually makes his way through his end-of-life crisis, and he actually reads Proust's Remembrance of Things Past, and of course uses that with a little help from prescription drugs from his therapist. Dwayne's Depressed shows us how to write with an understanding of the human condition, which I think is something that McMurtry does a great job at. It's the 3rd book in a series, and the series went from 1966 to 2009, and it's exactly in the middle. So we don't have to complete a character's journey in one book, which I think is something that we have to think about as writers. I think the stylistic elements that McMurtry uses, and the ultimate goal for me as a writer, is to make it more like a journey where my reader and I are riding along in a car or sitting in a coffee shop talking, versus them being a person that's looking from the outside in on the story that I'm writing. So anyway, looking forward to seeing what you guys have. Have a great rest of your week, and good luck for our final week. Thanks.